Hello and welcome to the Philippines. Come along on this trip. This is a hobble ride, a motorbike taxi ride from close to Mango Square in uptown Cebu City area, and going over to J Center Mall in Mandaue. That's where the main immigration office is in Mandaue City here. Many of you have been to there or are aware of it. And you can see with the white stripes here, you've got bike lane, but everybody uses the bike lane while the bikes aren't there. Going to point out a few things along the way, throw a little news your way, a little bit about travel, what I know, a little bit about the immigration system. This was an interesting ride because we had a little bit of miscommunication with the driver, and I thought we were clear. I said, "You know where it's at?" Yes, and I even directed him which streets I thought he should use. He didn't use the main directions that I gave him, which was fine. There's a couple ways to get to the same place. We had already settled on a price, I think 100 pesos, $2 US. Anyway, to go up through Ayala Mall area, the Cebu Business District, and I'd asked him go to Cabahog Street, turn left on Hernan Cortez Street, and go across Fortuna Street Avenue, whichever it is. And my friend lives up there, and I was going to take him down to JRC Visa and Immigration Consultancy to take care of some issues that he has. Anyway, he ended up going right past the turn I asked him to go to, and I told him I thought he was going to make a U-turn because there's no left turn there. And I said, "You need to make a left turn. You need to make a U-turn." Yeah, he said. He kept going. I said, "Where are you going?" "Labangan," he said. I said, No. Turn left. And so then he finally took my directions. Didn't go too far out of the way. Just a little miscommunication, and we'd agreed on the price, so that was that. In fact, I paid him a little extra. He was a good guy. Now the first point everybody is wondering about: when can we travel? When is the Philippines going to open up for foreigners so we can come back to the Philippines? That is a good question, and there's some talk about it, but that's about all there is. There's little hints that they want to start setting up a system so that they can allow, I think, you read different articles and they all word it differently, and it's not official anyway. But like many countries, they're like Europe. In fact, they've got some Europe pass that was called something else. I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, if you've been fully vaccinated, which a lot of people don't want to get vaccinated, if you've recovered from the disease. Now, a lot of us, like myself, fall into that category. If you've recovered from it, you've got natural antibodies. If you have negative tests, if you take tests before you come to a country, and when you get to the country and you show that you are testing negative, and I'm not going to get into a discussion about the tests at this point in time, but those three groups, perhaps additional groups than that, are going to be allowed to travel, allowed to get this type of pass. The different countries are, like the European Union is coming up with a system. Different countries are coming up with a system. My guess is that it's going to take several months yet before that system is in place. I would guess that they'll be pushing to start letting tourists in. Christmas is a big time, very important economic time for the Philippines. Many Filipinos come back here. It's winter time in much of the world. People want to travel. December, January, February, March. So they really need to get that system set up and start allowing people back in the country. Point out that big building ahead of there. That is Avenir. It's kind of like a business condominium. You can live there or have your office there. I've done a one or two videos inside there. If you don't know, I have over 900 videos up. I have done a lot of videos of condominiums, some subdivisions, some houses for sale and rent, and you can go and check out my playlists for those types of things. If you'd be so kind as to hit that like button, that helps to promote the channel on YouTube, and or even the dislike if you don't like the channel. It all helps to promote. Now those two buildings off in the distance, that is Grand Residences. And there's two smaller towers over to the right. They are already occupied, part of Grand Residences. Condominiums there. I've done, I think, at least two videos there. The yellowish building right ahead of us, the Sentinel. That is a older condominium, but the units generally larger units than what you find in many of the newer ones. And up on top of that roof deck, I'm told you can land 2 helicopters up there. So if you've got 3 helicopters, that could be a problem. Gonna have to find a different place. Got IT Park, which is a city within a city, off to the left here. Many multiple square blocks of businesses, banks, corporate centers. Right there to the right was Crossroads, and they've got a number of restaurants in there worth checking out. They've got a Mexican restaurant. It was closed last time I was in there. Not sure if they've opened back up or not. But they've got Abaca, put out a really great breakfast, in my opinion. Pretty decent burger. That over there, you've got, I think that's 38th Avenue condominium, that tall building going up there. They topped that off virtually the other day. And that is one of your high-end units. Here you have the Cebu Country Club golfing place there to the right. Other than that, a little bit of a news about travel, what's happening here in the Philippines. Different areas are becoming more strict and shutting down tourist areas. Fortunately, here in Cebu province, the island of Cebu, Governor Gwen Garcia understood many months ago that the lockdowns were doing much more damage than the virus, as the over 96% of the people that were testing positive were very mild symptoms or asymptomatic, no symptoms at all. So that's, you wonder a little bit about the tests there. But anyway, primarily the older people who already are ill, have many comorbidities. Those are the people all over the world who have to be the carefulest with this or the flu or pneumonia or any other disease. We are fortunate here in the province of Cebu that we're able to move about. I've got a number of friends who've gone up to Bantayan Island, very popular with the tourists, friends who've lived here. And basically what you have to do when you make your reservations with a hotel online, they will send you a QR code, and you have that on your phone. Some places tell you to have paper copies of those, all your documents as well. But anyway, you should have all that information on your phone. If you have a smartphone, if you don't have a smartphone, of course you have to carry the paper documents. And they tell me that at the port, they want to see that document. And some of the hotels, resorts may ask for it, may not ask for it. So what I hear from other people's experience is that it just varies depending upon where you're at. And then there are different islands that are more strict and don't want anybody from outside of their areas. Some areas you can only travel within certain zones, and that can change weekly. So there's no way I can give a breakdown on that. Off to the right here is I think Manila Town Center, and a number of restaurants in there. And you also have Robinson's Mall in there. I will do a separate video soon about that, Manila Town Center. That has I've eaten at a couple of restaurants in there recently, and smaller little mall area, but some interesting places in there. And we're coming up to Fortuna. I'm not sure if it's avenue or street. Fortuna, and we're going to take a right. It's going to take us down closer to where we want to go. I just read an article just a couple minutes ago that stated that they're going to start opening up the Manila, what they call Manila Plus areas, the NCR area up there, all the Manila metropolitan area that had been under stricter travel. And depending upon the particular area that they are from, up in that area, they are going to be allowed to travel a bit more freely. Now, there are some islands and areas that still require PCR tests, depending upon where you come from. So it's all something, you know, it changes weekly. So it's very difficult trying to keep up with that. I'm going to make a prediction, something that was happening even before this lockdown over a year ago around the world, is that many areas like Boracay, very popular white sand beach at Boracay, was shut down for 6 months for rehabilitation. Thailand has had a few beaches that have done the same thing. We have a number of islands that are very popular and get more tourists generally than what it is set up and what they can handle. So there's going to be more restrictions on travel once this economy does open up. So we'll find out. When we get to the McDonald's, we need to go left on Hernan Cortez, but left is not allowed, so maybe you have to do a U-turn. And I thought he was, we were pretty clear on that, but we went right by, and I was waiting for him to do a U-turn, and waiting, and didn't happen, so I finally asked him, "Where are you going?" And anyway, we found our way back to where we had to be. Now, there has been some good news out here for a little bit too. If you're interested in getting a long-term visa here in the Philippines, the SRRV, the Special Resident Retirement Visa, has started back up. Here we're just passing the Harley-Davidson shop. I've done a video in there. So depending upon where you're from, it might and your age, it might cost you $20,000 US in a Filipino bank to get that. If you're over a certain age, it might cost $10,000 in a Filipino bank. And if you're military, U.S. military, it might cost you less than $2,000. I'll do another video about that soon. Some of the details. Going to get my friend to apply for that SRRB. That does have some perks associated with it, and just like the marriage visa, you get some special perks having the marriage visa and the ballot buy-in privilege. I've done a couple videos about those. I've interviewed JR at JRC Visa Consultancy. Where are you going? Oh, I need to take a left on Hernan Cortez on that street by McDonald's. Yeah. You going to turn here? Yeah. Such is life. No big deal. We're only a few blocks past. I waited a little longer than I wanted to, but there was no place to turn left, so I waited until we got close to a street. I kept thinking he's gonna make a U-turn once the traffic lets up, but didn't happen. And a little bit slower coming these narrower back roads. Sometimes they're faster, sometimes they're slower. A lot of trucks back in this area, different warehouses, so turned out it got a little bit slower, but no problem. Got to where we had to be. If you are on a tighter budget and you want to live in the city, one of the cities, but you want a cheaper place to look. Now he wanted to take a right again. I said, no, left. But if you want a cheaper place to live, you kind of pick a part of a town or city, ask people about the different areas, what would be safer for an expat to live in, and convenient for an expat to live in. And there again, depending on your situation, your budget, ask them. And Filipinos are some of the best networked people in the world. They know somebody who knows somebody who has a place for rent, and be it a house, condominium, whatever. If you find somebody that you trust, have them help you find and negotiate the price, and that's the best. I know many of you are in different situations with your visa. You're living here, you're getting close to overstaying your visa. You have overstayed your visa. That's what my friend has done, and he is putting out a motion for reconsideration and applying for the retirement visa. Anyway, there are options, so I would suggest you contact an agent such as JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services. I'll put some contact information in the description of the video. Anyway, I have arrived here. So anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.